Hi, my name's Rob Scott from CX Today, bringing you the latest news and conversation from the customer experience technology space. So today, I'm joined by Puzzle's new CEO, Frederick Leslie, and we're going to be discussing his plans for the company and why Puzzle is perfectly positioned to succeed in today's customer experience marketplace. So welcome, Frederick.
Hey, thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for joining me. Good to meet you. And we're going to be talking about your future plans for Puzzle, I suppose. But just with just a few months in your post, before we delve in, how about we find a little bit out about you? Tell us a little bit about your background and your career so far.
Sure. So I'm the new CEO of Puzzle, as you mentioned. Joined the 1st of February. My background, I've always been working in technology and IT. That's the main thread in my career. Over the last, prior to joining Puzzle, I was the CEO of a tech company called Tacton. I took that company from a local Swedish on-prem business into a global SaaS company with offices in the US, in Europe, and in Japan. So that was an exciting journey, and hopefully can apply that, all what I've learned to Puzzle. What described me as well is that I would describe myself as a true European. As you can hear, I'm from France, but I've been living in the UK, in Germany, now in Sweden. I've been spending the last 15 plus years out of Stockholm, where I'm based today, and today leading a Norwegian company.
Fantastic. And, my first question for you today, Frederick, is more around kind of, what attracted you to the world of contact center as a service or cloud contact center technology?
So that's a good question, and reflecting a little bit on this, I think that of course the love of technology, software as a service, and growth is one building block, but probably I would say what attracted me is the space. And what I mean by the space, it's probably not CCaaS or contact center per se, but much more what interests me is customer interaction, customer engagement, customer experience. And what we've seen is, independently if it's before, during, or after you buy a service or piece of goods, you need to always manage this customer engagement, delivering customer experiences. So that's probably what brought me to Puzzle. On top of it, it's about the opportunity, and we can claim to be a Nordic champion. And of course, building further to a European champion is something that excites me, and we have a good chance to reach that.
Fantastic. Well, I'll certainly echo that. It's an exciting space. We've even built a news publication around it recently, and it's there's so much happening in the world of contact center, especially with the rise of CCaaS and everyone going home to work. It seems to be a great time to be in this space. So, in terms of current trends and topics that are kind of dominating customer conversations, what would you say kind of are the real headlines right now?
So this is interesting. So when I joined Puzzle, so I had this question: what are the market drivers? What does the customer want? Of course, Puzzle, we have a background. We come from voice. That was one channel. And then we've been adding many other channels on top of that, and then orchestrating all that. But today, the conversation I have with the customer is, how do I do in this new world to better engage with my customers? Video is one of the conversations. How do I bring this immersive experience, better engaging, enabling a face-to-face, a digital face-to-face, in a world where in financial services, the branches are dying or are cut. So I think video is one big thing. On top of it, I would say AI/chatbot. There's a lot of discussion about how can you automate, how can you better serve the customer through artificial intelligence, which leads as well to self-service. So I think that all of our customers want to, of course, manage their OPEX or the cost of serving the customer. And we realize that there's a lot of things that can be automated, self-serve. Even the customer don't want to engage with an individual or an agent. And even more now, the consumer that are 20 plus, this generation mute, they don't want to speak over the phone. So engagement through self-service is really important. Which brings me to the last point. I was speaking about the agent. I think a key thing is, how do you give an empathetic experience by having the agent really empower a part of the conversation? So remote working is important. So these agents are not in a call center anymore, but probably sitting on their couch or at the dinner table working on a daily basis. The other day I was speaking to an airline, just as a parenthesis or an anecdote. So I spoke to an airline to book a ticket. And after the conversation, I was curious and I asked the guy, where are you sitting? Are you at work in a call center? And he said, no, I'm sitting home. And for that, they have no supervisor behind them. They have no monitoring as it was done before. So around the agent, empowering them, making gamification, how do you bring them something fun? Access to knowledge, super important as well. So that would be the last. Or everything around the agent is a key trend.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and a lot of those trends we certainly pick up on here at CX today. But it certainly seems like it's a real era of kind of out with the old, in with the new, lots of new tools, all based in the cloud now, and I suppose new rules attached, to those new technologies that we're delivering. So it's fantastic. Well, tell me about Puzzle as a business. You're only 3 months in. I'm sure you remember the names of every member of staff now within the Puzzle team. But tell us about the business. What's it like at Puzzle, and what excites you about leading the team?
So when you said that, what excites me about leading the team, first of all, it starts with our mission. I think it's important to know who we are, and our mission is to enable brands to deliver exceptional experiences. At that point, it's like many others. But for us, it's by combining technology and people. And this technology and people, it can be AI and the agent, the IQ and the EQ. And we do that to create lifelong relationships. So these lifelong relationships, that's what will enable our customers to monetize on the life cycle. So monetize by doing upsell, better serving the customer, and keeping the customer. So not churning the customer. What excites me is the challenge as well. I think we have a challenge in front of us I was mentioning earlier, we can claim to be the Nordic champion, even seen by analysts such as Gartner or Forrester or Frost & Sullivan as a European leader already. But I think we have a journey ahead of us to go from the Nordic champion to winning, not only playing, but winning the Champions League. And of course, in that journey, in that growth journey, so now it's about growth. We have a great product market fit. I think that it shows in the 1,000+ customers that we have. And now it's about acceleration. So how do we accelerate? So what's cooking? It's and what excites me, it's about international expansion. And I can get back to that about new geos, new countries, Benelux, France, Germany, among others. But it's as well speed of innovation. We know that these smart experiences needs to go beyond what exists today in a call center. So innovation is a key ingredient. So that excites me as well. And right now, looking together with customer beyond of defining what is a smart experience when you're a consumer. How do we define that? How do we productify that to drive our growth journey? And then two last thing is what excites me is building fantastic teams. I think that in these days, you can have a great vision, you can have great shareholders, you can have great customers, but if you don't get the team to work in one common and well-described direction, we will not get there. So building a winning culture or keeping building our winning culture is a key ingredient and excites me. I'm going to end up with one last thing. So there's a part of solving the problem. I think that Puzzle, as I mentioned, we have a good product market fit. But what is the problem that we're seeing out there? And sometimes I see that there's, first of all, a lack of empathy in the service delivered. So how do we bring empathetic customer experiences? That's one thing that really triggers me. and triggers us at Puzzle. And the second thing linked to that is all these, we speak about omni-channels, yes, many channels, but it seems that they tend to be really siloed still. So how do you orchestrate all that to give a real fluent experience from the end user perspective?
That is really, that's an interesting question there, isn't it? That unification of those channels, it's always been a challenge. And that's certainly, I'd like to see Puzzle solve that once and for all. In terms of your vision for the future, can you share any of your plans? What's on your desk for the immediate future?
Sure. And that's something that we've been working on over the last now 3 months. And before saying where we're going, it is always important to understand, as I mentioned, who we are, and that's something after 15 years we know who we are. But super important to understand the customer, and maybe even more our customer's customer. And what I've been seeing out there over the last period of time is a shift from human to human connection to human to digital, and even digital to digital. Think about you're joining a shop, a retailer. Previously, that was pure physical experience. Nowadays, you can use your phone for augmented reality. So these experiences are shifting. On the other side, you have, if I take the insurance space, which is really interesting. Previously, the contact between an insurance company and their client was when they wrote a new policy and when you had a claim or an incident. Nowadays, you can leverage usage data or IoT data to create new experiences. So this is these two worlds, and on one side you have the digital, the machine, so the IQ, so it's a lot of automation, and then you have the human, the EQ that merge together, and this is what we can define as the newcomers, and that brings me to our vision. Our vision is really to power the future of commerce by enabling smart experiences. And I want to put the emphasis on smart experiences, commerce being the context. So that's about our North Star, our vision. Then if I go a little bit more in concrete, what are we doing? So what's the plans? As I mentioned earlier, it's about new geography, so international rollout. And we have already customer outside of the Nordic and the UK region, but now we want to better serve them. So we're looking, of course, at the usual and traditional geos, where the high concentration of companies having a high concentration of consumers. As I mentioned, Benelux, France, Germany. But it's a lot about, as well, building products to deliver customer value. Our customer there, it's not that they're sitting still. They have customers really demanding, so they need us to innovate together. So we have a good pipeline of innovation projects that now we need to turn into great products. So that's as well something that is key to us. Last thing, so it's about new geographies. Of course, we running a business, you said that's about new customers. It's about new products. But one thing that is key to us is customer success. We've seen in that space so many customers, and mostly on the on-prem world, buying a solution. They got it on their knees, tough time to implement, and then left alone. I strongly believe, and coming from a software as a service business previously, the power of customer success, where we need to drive the customer in the adoption phase, helping them with the adoption, making sure that they shorten the time to value. It is an investment. How do we help the customer realize the value of that investment? And then helping the customer expand together with us by looking at new use case, better serve the customer. So it's about growth, it's about innovation, and it's about customer success.
Wow, Frederick, you've got some great plans ahead of you. So I wish you the very best for the future. And sadly, that's all we've got time for today. But thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you, CX Today, for having me and having Puzzle here today.
And that's it from us. If you've enjoyed today's session, please subscribe to CX Today News and give this video a quick share on social, as it's always appreciated. And if you're a CX fan and want to be part of the conversation, you can join us using the hashtag CX News on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and our social links are in the description. So I'm Rob Scott from CX Today. Thanks for watching.